Okay, sorry about that. This is a terrible way to start this video, but this video is going to be about the possibilities, the most likely scenario to play itself out in the off season. What the Patriots might be able to do to revamp instead of revamp. Just try to some of the things that they can do. I'm just trying to choose my words carefully here. Okay, so as we all know, the Patriots did lose tonight, and I said in a couple videos I did about New England is that it wouldn't surprise me if they went all the way. It wouldn't surprise me if they lost this game, and they lost. And there were some plays in the second half that, it really summed up the whole theme of this season. And this whole game, pretty much, it was pretty much the summary of what the season has been about. The defense doing everything it possibly can to keep the team in games. The offense doing some good things, but for the most part, they were ineffective. And there were a bunch of sloppy plays. Okay, but there are a few plays. Sorry about that. There were a few plays that I wanted to focus on specifically. But we're going to take a look at the highlights of this game. I'm going to, explain what I see. We're going to try to move through the video as quickly as possible. I may skip here and there and at the end of the video. Or, you know what? I'm going to try to get it all done by the end of the clip here. And I'm going to give some of my thoughts on what the Patriots possibly can do. And, some of the possibilities of the offseason. So let's get started.
You could be seeing the last time Brady plays at Foxborough today. 2nd and 10. He's in trouble. He tries to get it away, and it's almost intercepted. It's ruled incomplete. Brady plays at Foxborough.
Now I wanted to just rewind a little bit. I think the offensive line, I think as the season went on, the offensive line started to play a little bit better than what they did early on in the season. But I still think this offensive line had issues. I think this offensive line had issues all year long that the offense couldn't recover from. This is why it's been hard for Brady as far as the passing game goes, and it's been hard for the running game. I think a lot of what the Patriots do revolve around whether or not their offensive line can do their job. And I think the offensive line struggled because of the injuries. New England, and this was a storyline at the beginning of the season. New England had to go out and he had to just sign guys off the street during the season. And you normally don't see things like that. They usually just have dudes that have guys on their team that, like backups that they would just bring up and, they would just, activate, put them in. They would plug them in. And they had to dip into free agency too much for the offensive line. And you saw a few plays. Like, I don't know what it is, but a 3-man rush should not be able to get to the quarterback as fast as 3-man rushes are able to get to Tom Brady because of this offensive line.
2nd and 10. He's in trouble. He tries to get it away, and it's almost intercepted. It's ruled incomplete. Down the middle. Contested and caught. What a catch by...
That was a great catch. But when you look at the play, that should have been a pass breakup by the Titans. These receivers have struggled with separation pretty much all fucking year. Now, people will say, well, the offense was looking good early on for the first couple of games or whatever. I mean, they played a Pittsburgh Steelers team who I even said in my video, I didn't think the Pittsburgh Steelers would make the playoffs this year. I said it in a preseason prediction video that I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers would, not make it. So I never had high expectations for that team. I didn't think that team was great. I didn't think that they really, had much to offer this season. But, New England went in, they destroyed them. And I just think that was I think it misled people too much. But, yeah, these receivers, man, they've struggled. They struggled getting open. They struggled gaining separation, especially against physical corners, against really smart DBs. They've been taken out of. They've been neutralized. All right, I'm just trying to think of something, but they've been neutralized for the most part, and you saw that a lot in this game.
Ben Watson. White comes into the backfield. They give it to White on the screen, and he breaks it for a big gain before he's thrown down. They found the running attack. It's 3rd and 3. Now play action and throw, and it's incomplete.
That right there, it looked like the offensive line held the rush at bay very well. I mean, to me, it looked like the Titans were sloppy as far as the pass rush goes in that situation. But the offensive line did a good job with not letting anybody get free. And at the end of that play, we just seen, again, I mean, receivers are not able to get open. Now, I wouldn't be so hard on N'Keal Harry. I mean, dude had an injury that had him out for like 6 weeks. I mean, he had to try to cram as much as he possibly could. He has played decent based on the amount of time I guess he had to get prepared to actually see real, in-game action. So I think that he's done a pretty good job so far this year. I think next year we're going to see a different N'Keal Harry. But yeah, this year I think he did a decent job.
36 yards and the kick is good. He has been on fire the last month. Henry has the first down and a whole lot more.
Derrick Henry was chewing through the defense for the most part. I mean, there was a stretch in the game where the defense was able to hold itself together and prevent the run game of the Tennessee Titans from taking over. But I mean, Derrick Henry did a lot of damage.
Regular season finale against Houston. Tannehill on the mark.
And Tannehill surprised me. He had a couple of throws that were, Tannehill-ish, especially against New England. But I think Tannehill had a great game. And it's not hard for me to believe that Tannehill could be a decent quarterback in this league. I think the biggest issue, the biggest knock for me against Tannehill was that he just, he got hurt a lot. So, he missed a significant amount of time when he was in Miami. And I think that if he's able to, have better conditioning and with the pieces that they have in Tennessee, I think that this kid could have a future there.
Again, open receiver and another first down. And the running game, and that's hard to do. It's like the Rams last year in the Super Bowl. Here's Henry. Off left tackle, break.
New England was great this season defensively, but they struggled mightily against the run game. And I think that a huge part of that is that I don't think their defensive line is very good. I don't think that they have the ability to generate pressure, especially when it comes to like getting off the blocks and stuff in the run. They don't have a defensive tackle. See, when New England, back when New England started, when they were winning the championships, like their first 3 titles, back then, I mean, their defensive line was really good. I mean, you had Richard Seymour. Look, I'm not even gonna try to remember the players on the defensive line, but the defensive line was key, especially when it comes to the run game. I mean, the outside linebackers did a good job with being able to get off of the edges and being able to help in the run game. And then when they got Vince Wilfork, he pretty much became that plug where it was really hard for anybody to get, anything up the middle consistently. They haven't had that in a while. I mean, they haven't needed it. I mean, they've been doing well so far with, piece here, piece there. But, I think in the draft, man, I think they need to look towards getting a better pass rush. If you're able to generate pressure on quarterbacks consistently, I think that it'll ease up on the fucking secondary. It'll make their job a lot easier, and I think it'll make the job of the linebackers a lot easier if your defensive line is able to set a tone. And I just don't feel like New England has those pieces. Now, when they traded away Michael Bennett for that dumb shit that Michael Bennett did, I understood, but I think it was a risky move for them to trade away the pieces they did. Now, I know they traded away Josh Gordon because he was still having those issues, and I think injury played a part in the decision to let him go. But if Josh Gordon could have come back at some point, I think that he would have been a significant piece for Brady.
Tackles, and he's got another first. Mike Vrabel credit for making that decision, turn their season, and they have an opportunity in front of them that no one predicted. Well, they can't stop Henry. Look at this offensive line. This is not working right now, especially early. 2nd and 1, and again another 5 or 6. The best red zone team in the league since Tannehill took over, and they chug along for another first. Communicate with the line.
Just eating up yards. I mean, there was a stretch where, this dude ran the ball like 10 times, and he wasn't getting anything less than 4 yards.
You get blocked, and then you got to make a tight throw quickly. Tannehill, end zone, touchdown.
That right there, that surprised me because, all right, the first guy that was the first free runner that they had come in got chipped. And then the second guy came in, and he ran like a bat out of hell. But for Tannehill to be able to stand in the pocket, keep his composure and deliver that ball to that tight end who completely burned Terrence Brooks off the. He hit him with a move, and after he hit the move, he was behind Terrence Brooks. Terrence Brooks was playing catch up. Like, bro, he hit him with a move, and I was impressed by that. I thought that was a phenomenal move. But yeah, man, that play surprised me, and I was very impressed.
Tennessee, Ferkser was open, and the backup tight end hauls it in for the score. What a drive to open things for the Titans. Losing in overtime, 22-19. 2nd and 11. Stiff arm. Woman is not in. Roberts back at fullback, and there's a huge opening for Michelle.
See, they had these plays where you started to think, okay, they're getting it going. But then there was always something to stall it. There was always, especially in the red zone, there was always something that was going to stall them.
It's a tough break for the Titans, obviously. Yeah. 2nd and 10. Pocket preserved, and the pass complete to Watson. On 3rd and 2, they're going to run it with White. Got the first and a whole lot more. Brady's yelling at Julian, get in your spot. Julian was not targeted in that first half. He's got the handoff, and he can strut in for the touchdown untouched.
Although Julian, I think he had a pretty decent day. I think Julian made some mistakes, man. Julian just didn't look like Julian this year. And it could be because of whatever injuries he may have that he needs surgery for, that people have been saying that he needs surgery for this and surgery for that. He may need surgery, which I would hope that he would get it in the offseason. But he just did not look like himself this year. His route running has been very spotty. Very spotty. It hasn't been good. And he also had a problem with the drops this year.
3rd and 3, they pick up the blitz, but it's knocked down. Knocked down by Adam Butler for the Patriots at the 32. To Edelman, and his first catch goes for a first down. The 3rd and 1. Burke in the tailback. They go with Roberts, the fullback. Caught a pass last week for a touchdown. David Long, who came in for Brown. Again, Patriots have blocked 4 punts. They're trying to set up return. Kern His first punt traveled 54 yards. It's another good one, but Sanu has it.
This was a great return by Mohamed Sanu. Mohamed Sanu has done very little since being traded to the New England Patriots, but this play right here was a really good play. Totally unexpected, but really good.
Good return to the Tennessee 47.
7-0 first quarter Tennessee. Then what happens?
Yep, came a blowout. Michelle.
And I think people's thoughts about Mohamed Sanu's play since being traded to New England. I mean, even I did. I thought that he would be a big help, but it just highlighted how average this guy is, and that's not a negative thing all the time. But in Cincinnati, Mohamed Sanu was pretty good. He was pretty good in Cincinnati. But he was also playing opposite of A.J. Green, which I'm pretty sure you line these two guys up as a defensive coordinator, your job is to probably stop A.J. Green. Then he goes to Atlanta, and he's opposite Julio Jones. And then there's all these other weapons all over the place. So, I mean, this dude could completely torch probably a one-on-one, or, if they're not concerned with him for the most part, they're just focused on everybody else. I mean, I think he benefited from playing with great players or playing on great offenses. Now, when he comes here and he's looked at as the big piece and the team needs him to play that role of the big piece, I think it just showed how average he is.
Guy, throw it quick.
They need 6 for a first. They got a first down.
And this is what I'm saying about N'Keal Harry. N'Keal Harry doesn't have the greatest separation, at least not right now. I mean, but he is a rookie. So I think some credit should be given to him for the job that he was able to do coming back off of that injury. N'Keal doesn't need to be open to catch the fucking ball. Like, this guy, I mean, he's a big physical receiver. This dude can just go up and get it. And that's a big, big plus for him, especially this early on.
You set it downs. And a running play with great blocking out in front. Just goes the first 10 yards without being touched. Ellis now matched Derrick Henry, who you just saw, with 53 yards on the ground. First down, another screen play. Burkhead in traffic.
Burkhead, since coming to New England, has been a wonderful surprise. I mean, this dude can do it all, and he does a spectacular job at what he does. I mean, this guy is a great back. Great back. I mean, I thought he was good in Cincinnati, not really nothing special, but I mean, this guy is good. And I believe he was also in Buffalo. But Rex Burkhead is one of those guys you look at what he looks like, you look at his size. I mean, you probably look at his combine and you'd be like, it's nothing really special there, but this guy can get it done. I mean, he has game speed. He's big. He's strong. He could run through the holes like a bat out of hell and also run you over if you get in his way. And he is a play extender. This guy will break a tackle. He will find an opening.
Michelle, not this time.
And this drive right here, I didn't like the way it ended because New England should have passed at some point, and they ran 4 times or 3 times, and they were stuffed all 3 times. They should have passed at some point, found a way to get the ball into the end zone. Look, although I believe Bill Belichick is one of the greatest coaches to ever coach in the NFL, I'm going to say this. I think he has been incredibly conservative late in the season. And it could be because he doesn't have much faith in the offense. But he has been incredibly conservative.
That's Evans. Michelle, they got him again. What a goal line stand by the Titans.
Rashaan Evans was a beast. He was a beast in this game.
There's a 21-yard field goal attempt by Folk, and it's good.
All right, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit to later in the game. So Sorry about that. I was trying to. Sorry about that. I was trying to find a point to start back on. All right.
Off his back foot, and he's intercepted.
That was a great play by Deron Harmon. Great play. But I knew as soon as that pick happened, I was like, yeah, I don't think the offense is going to do anything with this.
Harmon with the diving pick.
New England needs to score a touchdown on, I believe, to really.
It's 3rd and 3, and they get to Brady, so the pass had.
I believe that play we just saw was the play where they only rushed 3 people and they got to Brady. A 3-man rush and he got to him.
New England needs to score a touchdown on, I believe, to really.
It's 3rd and 3, and they get.
Look at that. Look, 3-man rush and they get to him quickly. That was a comeback he just threw. And before he was even able to get the ball to the guy, he had 2 guys in his face ready to sandwich him. Like, a 3-man rush should not get to any quarterback that fast. I don't care how bad the offensive line is. That should never happen. When you have 5 offensive linemen versus 3 rushers, there's no way they should get back there within 2 seconds to sack the quarterback or at least pressure the quarterback. I'm sorry. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it.
To Brady, so the pass.
Especially when you could double team 2 of those rushers, and then I guess the weaker rusher, you can just leave one of your offensive linemen on him and hope that he could win his matchup. Like, there's no way, man.
Had nothing on it.
Work the clock. It was the vaunted defense, get it.
Tannehill in the pocket, jump pass. They've got the.
Great play. Great play. And I don't even blame the defense for giving up plays like this. They played hard all game. They kept Tennessee at bay for a very long time. I mean, it was only going to last for so long. But they did a great job.
First, he bought enough time and got it to Dion Lewis. At the top, you got A.J. Brown with a rookie on him. Tannehill keeps it, and he pulls ahead for the first.
And they do take these long drives at the end of games. You can't say it enough.
Yep, back to Henry. Cut outside. Big gain. Big gain. Just running right into J.C. Jackson. And 3. From here, it'd be 51 yards. They had to go that way. Oh, Tannehill drops the snap. Henry falls on it.
It's different than the timeout. You know they're punting if they're taking the delay.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
All right, I'm going to fast forward a little bit to later.
There goes Henry for another first down.
They're going to run this ball, and they're getting this ball back.
Henry.
All right, I think I missed the point that I wanted to show. All right, let's go back a little bit.
Picks it up. Stands tall in the pocket and passes.
All right, I missed it once more. Here we go. Now, this play right here that they're going to show, where the pass was thrown to Edelman, he was wide open. No one was around him to knock the ball out. He catches the ball and just drops it. And at that point, I knew that is going to be a play that is deeply regretted. I mean, that's going to be a point where, I mean, you look back on this game and you're saying if they catch this ball, they have a chance. But this is almost like a reminiscent. It almost reminds you of the play that Wes Welker had in the Super Bowl where the ball was thrown to him and he just couldn't come up with it. And he was wide open, no pressure, no corner in his face to knock it out. He just missed the catch.
Kern tries to do his thing. They end up marking it at the 11, not the 9, after further review. And Brady goes underneath and gets a good gain out of White.
That was a momentum boost. That was a play they needed. I saw that play and I was like, okay, here we go. Here we go. This is how it starts. And then the next play, it completely drained the offense of any energy that it gained off of that one play.
31. Low snap. Brady picks it up. Stands tall in the pocket. The pass is wide.
All right, so I guess they didn't show the play, but there was a play right before that play right there where Edelman was thrown wide open, and he completely missed the catch. And that's pretty much it, man. That's how the game ended in a fashion where in how I thought it would end. And I'm not going to say that the dynasty is over. All I'm going to say is I think that the dynasty could still go on even if Brady isn't brought back. I just think. I think it's possible. I think it's possible that they can extend it a little bit. If you could bring in a guy like Phillip Rivers or somebody like that, somebody with, that's been in the league for a while, that still has some gas left in the tank. If you choose not to bring Brady back, they may bring him back. I don't think Brady was the problem this season. Sure, he's regressing. He's getting older. Of course he's going to regress. But I think the problem was the lack of decent weapons and just the ineffectiveness of the weapons he did have, and how poorly everybody played around him, while he also played poor himself. So it was just like a perfect storm of shit that fell upon this offense, and it just wasn't a great year. That don't mean the dynasty is over. That don't mean that New England has won their last Super Bowl, even though I'm pretty sure there is like 80% of America that's hoping this is the final, straw before it all falls apart. But if they do bring Brady back, the draft is important. Hopefully the NFL doesn't take a draft pick away, because the last time New England was caught for cheating or whatever, and they wanted to punish them, they took a first round pick away. Hopefully they don't do that, but as a possibility they would. Free agency is also important. Belichick is going to have to spend some money probably. I mean, he does a great job with managing the budget, managing the cap, trying not to go over, trying not to overpay anybody. But I don't know. At this point right now, if you're bringing Brady back, you can't say we're not going to try our best to bring you the best weapons we possibly can. I don't think you can say that after a year like this. You could say that in the past because Brady was able to just work with whatever you gave him. I mean, usually the pieces fit, but he was still able to work with them. But after this year, and after the way this offense looked this year, you can't really skimp on anything. You have to try your best to get him the best that he possibly can work with. And that's if you bring Brady back. And if you don't, going in the direction of a veteran quarterback in free agency, possibly drafting a quarterback, if they could possibly move up and maybe get a guy like one of those highly touted quarterbacks in the draft, somebody that Belichick likes, that he thinks he could work with, possibly moving up. Or if you find somebody at the position you're at, getting a quarterback in the draft. I mean, just trying to move on. And this is why I said I don't think they should have traded Jimmy Garoppolo, because this would have made it so much easier for Brady to move on. This would have made it so much easier for New England to move on if they still had Garoppolo as the backup. And I've been saying it all night. I think Brady should consider retiring, because if you come back for another season, you don't know if the pieces are going to be better. You don't know if the pieces are going to be there. Injuries have been a huge thing in the whole run of the dynasty with New England. During the whole run, injuries have been a major thing. And I don't think that Brady at his age can work with that anymore. I think any injury to any piece that he needs is a huge loss. And it seemed like just with the injuries that piled up, it just seems like the more stress it caused the offense, because I mean, you just kept losing pieces, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just gonna say this: whatever they decide to do, we'll just keep track and we'll see what happens. But that's it.